The false dilemma fallacy, also known as the either-or fallacy, is a common logical error in reasoning where only two choices are presented as the only possibilities, ignoring other viable alternatives. This fallacy is often used to force a choice in debates and decision-making processes, simplifying complex issues into overly binary options. By presenting only two extremes, the false dilemma fallacy can limit critical thinking and lead to unnecessary polarization. The structure of a false dilemma argument is as follows. Person A presents a situation as having only two options, option X or option Y. Person A argues that if one rejects option X, then they must accept option Y, or vice versa. Therefore, one must choose between option X or option Y, ignoring any other possibilities. This reasoning is fallacious because it falsely constrains the range of options, limiting rational choice and often oversimplifying complex situations. Let's consider a straightforward example. A politician may state, "You either support our environmental plan or you're against the planet." In this example, the politician presents a false dilemma by suggesting that the only way to care for the planet is to support their specific plan, excluding all other potential environmental approaches. Here's another scenario in the educational context. A school administrator may state, "We either cut funding for the arts or we risk losing our sports program." This example presents a false dilemma by suggesting that the only way to manage the budget is by cutting either the arts or the sports, ignoring other possible solutions like adjusting other parts of the budget or increasing funding through fundraising efforts. To effectively challenge a false dilemma, consider the following strategies. Firstly, point out or suggest other alternatives that have not been presented. Secondly, analyze the way that the choices are framed and challenge the necessity of such binary decisions. Lastly, emphasize the complexity of the issue and reductionist nature of the dilemma being proposed. Sometimes, what seems like a false dilemma might actually be a correct representation of the situation. Here are a few scenarios where this might occur. Firstly, some situations genuinely have only two outcomes, such as agreeing or disagreeing to a specific proposal, or presenting two options is accurate and necessary. Secondly, certain statements are inherently binary, like you're either pregnant or you're not, reflecting a fundamental truth rather than fallacious limitation. And lastly, in specific circumstances, such as a medical emergency or other urgent situations, the options may be genuinely limited to two. For example, a doctor might state, "You can either take this life-saving medication with side effects or face the potential worsening of your conditioning." In such cases, the context dictates that the choices are indeed limited, which is not a false dilemma. The false dilemma fallacy can lead to poor decision-making by oversimplifying complex issues and pressuring individuals into making unnecessary or false choices. By recognizing and challenging the constraints of this fallacy, we can promote a more nuanced and inclusive approach to problem solving and debate.